This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, HBO Max has finally launched, and we give you our thoughts on the look, feel, and huge content library available. Henry Cavill is returning as Superman, and the Justice League Snyder Cut has ripple effects from fans and directors demanding movies that maybe don't need to exist.
This is going great.
Plus, a listener-sponsored review of the 1993 Schwarzenegger genre parody Last Action Hero, and a whole bunch more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, May 28th, 2020.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom, the Jock and Nerd podcast. Play it.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. You're jocking, you heard it. You're funny, disturbing. You're jocking, you heard it. You spoiler alert. Oh yeah. You're jocking, you heard it. You're funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. You're jocking, you heard it. You spoiler alert. Give it up one time.
What's up, listener? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose every week. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us is a puppet that had a magical ticket and redeemed it to come on this show, and now he really regrets it. What's up, Rug Boy? How's it going?
Yes, I'm the annoying puppet in the car. Pay no attention to me.
No, all sales are final, Rugs. You can't back out of the deal. You should have read the fine print.
How did I get in this movie?
Yes, on your magical ticket.
Yeah. Oh, it's you. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, is it? Or is it Jack Slater? We'll get to that.
It's Jack Slater. You're right.
You guys, crazy week. We have a lot of fun things to talk about. We're going to jump right in right here.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Oh, we got more streaming platforms to manage and juggle, listener. I hope you're excited. HBO Max finally launched just yesterday, and we've all had, like a day and a half to play around with it?
Yeah.
What day was that? May 27th?
May 28th. 7. What day is today?
7.
Today's the 28th. Yes.
28th, yeah.
Wednesday, May 27th, full release. So I want to get into, if you guys look, take a second, pull it up on your computer. We can look at it together. It's browser based. Want to get into your initial thoughts, the content on there. But I feel like we got to bring up probably the most confusing thing about the HBO Max is, where do you get this?
Oh, shit.
Who's carrying it? What platform?
And if you have the previous HBOs, how does that integrate?
And you may already be eligible to get it and not even know it. They really haven't communicated this very well, Warner Brothers. The whole thing is entirely confusing. Did you guys find any of this confusing when you were trying to install or log on?
I just said, when Imran gives me the password,
Yes.
I'll just log in. I had no problems. I have an Android TV.
Oh. It was on there.
No problems.
Okay, I got it on my.
I had issues.
Okay, we'll get to you. I put it on my PlayStation 4, no problem, and of course on the iPhone and on the laptop in a browser, it works great. Anthony, what happened?
Laptop, no problem.
Right,
that's no problem. But I primarily use a Roku.
Right.
Could not get it on the Roku.
So yes,
all I kept seeing was HBO Go.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
So, first of all, this is so fucking confusing. If you already pay for HBO Now, which was $15 a month, it magically will transform to HBO Max when you log in. It's the same amount of money, but you are getting a lot more. Surprisingly, HBO Max is not available on 3 huge fucking places. They have not secured deals with Comcast, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV.
Oh, shit.
Lame.
So that means my big TV downstairs that has a Comcast box that's Amazon Fire, I can't get HBO Max on there. I have a PlayStation upstairs. What it is on, it's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox. It is also on various cable providers like Google, YouTube TV, Charter, Samsung, Cox, Verizon, and it's in Hulu. So inside of Hulu, you can add it on for another $15. But then I ordered this, and then I went to Hulu, and I was like, I'm paying for this. Can I have it in here too? No, you can't. No. That's it. I'd have to pay for it again.
Jesus Christ.
But what's shitty is Warner Brothers are missing out on nearly 80 million people by not having.
I'm sure that they'll shore it up with at least Roku.
On Roku or Amazon Fire.
But both are huge. Both are huge misses. As you mentioned, 80 million.
That's a big fuck up right there.
Roku and Amazon Fire Stick are huge in the industry.
Roku has about 40 million active users. Amazon Fire TV says to have 40 million active users. And Amazon said 5 million Amazon users subscribe to HBO through the Amazon. Though all those people can't get HBO Max, which is just silly. Warner Brothers, sometimes I don't understand how they became such a big fucking movie company. Sometimes they make the stupidest decisions.
I just say, get yourself an Android box. You'll be happy because anything that they put out on a phone or on a computer, you can get.
There's even an explainer video that they put out, and even the video is super confusing.
Oh, shit.
Like, they can't even explain themselves. All right, so once you figure out how to fucking get it, and if you guys have questions, you can hit us up and send us a comment or an email. I'll try to figure out how you can get it. Anthony, initial thoughts on just the interface, the content. What do you think of the HBO Max?
I looked at it. I looked at the homepage, and the first thing I scrolled through to was the hubs.
Yes, it has hubs.
So the hubs, I'll just read them real quick.
Like Disney.
HBO is the big one.
Yep.
Kind of like how Disney Plus,
Yep.
DC, Sesame Workshop, Classics, Turner Classic Movies, Studio Ghibli, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Crunchyroll, and Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So when I looked at that, I went,
kind of weird.
This is this is kind of a weird thing to push.
Yeah.
This actually seems a lot more kiddie.
Yeah.
Either really kiddie, really niche, or like really old. I didn't see I would have figured they would have created a hub that would have maybe encompassed the fact that they have South Park and Friends and The Big Bang Theory and things that a lot of people, the mainstream probably
TV shows or there's categories on the side.
They could have figured it out. I think they're just bunching together the big stuff that they have, like the big kind of all grouped together things. They try to group them together as best as they could.
Yeah, but they have dumb categories like based on a book category. Like, really? Like, is anybody looking for movies just based on books? What is the point of this?
I have a feeling, look, the DC app sucks, and HBO Go was fine.
Yeah.
It's more like HBO Go than the DC app.
Yeah.
But I would like to see a little bit more information, a little bit more options on things.
Yes.
Like I went to go watch the Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
It's weird
which
mix
they
of
have.
movies.
They have, because Turner Classic Movies has some of these Godzilla. Actually, Turner Classic Movies is a good poll because they have a lot of old ass movies that are great, like old Oscar winning movies.
Anthony, if you want to be a real movie geek, which is where you're heading, that TCM hub
of course
alone is almost worth the price of admission. These are the greats. These are all classic great movies that any major real movie film geek should watch. All right there. And there's the whole Aliens is there. There's all this crazy stuff there, new and old.
Does look good.
But you can't change the subtitles.
No, and there's not a lot of description for the movies. It's very bare. There's not a lot of details.
They need to pump that up. They really need to give you a good experience.
So some highlights of content, like Rugg said, there's a bunch of Godzilla versus Mothra, Mechagodzilla, Megalon, Gigan, Godzilla Raids Again, and then King of the Monsters, Son of Godzilla. A lot of fun. The TCM section is great. All 8 Harry Potter films are on there for you to binge. All the Lord of the Rings movies are on there for you to binge. The Doctor Who got me a little bit interested in Doctor Who. 11 seasons of Doctor Who. All there. 11 seasons.
I've seen a few seasons.
I have a couple of comments, though. I think there's a lot on here. I think it's a good overall,
it's
I think
almost
the product
overwhelming.
is good. But I don't think it's some of their decisions are I don't feel like I have an idea of really what the identity for this is.
Yeah.
So Netflix is Netflix, right? They have their own brand, and Disney, like, as much as we probably don't watch it all that much, at least they have their identity. I don't really know what HBO Max's identity is.
A little bit of everything, a little bit for everyone.
It's like Netflix, but not Netflix, right? And
they're doing the DC thing.
Sort of, right?
Well,
like they have it, but they don't have all the, like, they have a lot of missing stuff.
Yes,
in the DC.
Here's what in the DC hub, here's what they have. It's not a lot. You have Aquaman, you have all the 80s Batman movies, the Schumacher Batman movies, Batman Gotham Knight. You have the Dark Knight Returns animated 2-part, The Killing Joke, where Batman fucks Batgirl on the roof.
What?
Batman v Superman. They have the Batwoman TV show, but then they have weird things like Catwoman and Jonah Hex and fucking Steel. Is anybody really clamoring for this shit?
Well, I don't mind that, but they don't have the Nolan stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to get more shit on there.
Surprisingly, all the Chris Reeve Superman movies, all the Nolan Batman movies, and the only series from DC Universe available is Doom Patrol. None of the other ones.
Yeah, it's a huge miss if you don't have the Justice League animated series.
When you log on to Disney Plus, right? Yeah. You see all of the main categories broken up. Yeah. You got the Disney, you got Star Wars, you got Marvel, you got all of those things broken up right front and center. Yeah. This you have to go to the very fucking bottom.
Yes. That was weird too.
So I agree.
The hubs are on the bottom. I don't understand that.
I think they need less broader categories. Like Netflix has all these crazy categories. They need that, but they also, Disney Plus and Netflix do a way better job at guiding the user through the content. Also,
just for Netflix, excuse me, Netflix's whole model is we have everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like their whole thing was we just have a shit ton of content.
Yep.
I think HBO Max is also trying to duplicate that, but I think it's tough to do that when you're second, or in this case, like 22nd in terms of the streaming apps, right?
Yeah.
Like I think you have to kind of build an identity, and I'm also looking at like their originals.
There's not a lot of original programming.
These are weak originals. I can read them to you real quick. Craftopia, I don't know what that is.
It's probably like a crafting reality show.
Legendary, it looks like some sort of fashion thing. Looney Tunes cartoons, I guess that's a big
Looney
thing.
Looney Tunes, yes.
Love Life with the girl from Pitch Perfect.
Anna Kendrick.
The Not Too Late Elmo show.
That show is really cute. I watched the first episode.
And then On the Record, which I don't know.
Music documentary series.
Yeah, they do. Look, this is the problem is they do have shitloads of content, but it's all HBO content, and anybody who's already had HBO Go.
I've seen all this stuff.
Has already seen everything.
I've seen a lot of this stuff.
So if you're John, I've never had cable in my life.
Yes. If you've never had HBO,
getting HBO Max, you're gonna get it. Like you're getting everything.
Yes.
You're getting Sopranos. You're getting all Westworld. You're getting everything. Yeah. Fucking Game of Thrones. You're getting it all.
Yep.
But if you've already been on the train, you already have seen this shit.
I've been subscribed for HBO for years, and I kind of
need exclusive stuff that no one else has, and they need more of it. They need to have a shitload of like new stuff.
Well, anecdotally, so like when it came out yesterday, I texted all my friends because I remember when Disney Plus came out, everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
I texted all my friends. I go, "Hey, are you guys getting HBO Max?" And they responded with,
"What?
What's that? What's on it?"
Oh no!
And then I didn't know how to like frame it because the hubs are all, there's so many hubs, but they're all like things that I was like, I'm not really selling them on Studio Ghibli by telling them that. So I just went, here's an article, read it. And it was like, the article is like, it's like 20 paragraphs of like all the different things and how to get it. But it's like, it's just hard to explain to like the layman, unless you're like a big Friends fan or a big DC, like, what is the identity of the app?
Because it's everything from like Big Bang Theory to Rick and Morty to Impractical Jokers to Doctor Who.
It is impressive.
It's very impressive.
It really is. Like I was actually
a lot of shit
smiling ear to ear when I got this app because I was like, oh, I can watch this now. Oh, I'm fucking watching that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, look at all these Godzilla movies. I'm like, I'm great. I'm like they have complete series of all these things that they're not on Netflix. I'm like fucking so there, but then a lot of the stuff was on HBO Go too. So it's like,
so the Studio Ghibli and the Crunchyroll, Anthony, that's where you're going to find your anime.
Yeah.
And then you have
Rugs. You're the anime guy. Do they have a lot there?
I mean,
they have Kill la Kill. Rugs, one of your favorites.
They have Kill la Kill, which is the upskirt,
Jesus,
like girl in like a schoolgirl outfit that like basically is flossing her asshole with it.
Nice.
And fighting with a pair of scissors. Like, so, if you want to see that, tune in for that. That's like their main thing that they're plugging, by the way.
Yeah, they're featuring that big.
That's their featured
I
thing.
saw that.
This
I was like,
show
oh, that's that Kill la Kill show.
So, like, if misogynistically done, it's great. Anyway, yeah, they have a good selection of anime. I'm sure that Netflix has their own brand of stuff that they're plugging, and this is like they have a lot of similar stuff. They're actually some of the stuff that's on Netflix is on here. And some of the stuff that's I see there's a lot of stuff on this app that's on other apps as well. Yeah. Like Amazon, like Prime, like it has a lot of stuff that similar stuff as well.
But then that's why some of the things are missing because there's different contracts with different streaming services.
I think that once we get knee deep in this bullshit,
I think it's getting better once these original, like the Green Lantern show and all the, this will be Warner Brothers' answer to the Disney Marvel shows is they can have higher budget DC TV shows on HBO Max.
What is this whole thing of like them pulling stuff on and putting stuff on and taking stuff off?
I don't know
that they own. Like, why do they do that?
Because there is in the drop down categories there is a last chance category that says stream these hits before they're gone. So there's movies like the Meg and the Hobbit movies and the Batman Returns. Like these will be removed soon. I don't understand why you're taking it off. And what?
Yeah, like what do they can't have the room for?
It may be that the licensing with the movie ran out. If they don't own it, I don't know.
Yeah, but aren't they now are they now going to license or not license so they can make money on their app?
I don't know.
Like, are they thinking, is this going to continue? I feel like this is maybe a holdover from the old way of thinking of how to do business and how to. So they've tied all their stuff up on licensing,
right?
And maybe in a year or two when this shit is kind of like the norm, more of this stuff will come back, or is it some kind of like way to get people to come on, knowing that shit is like temporary? I don't know.
Snyder Cut will be on. Fucking sign up today. I think the interface, it's clean, it's intuitive, it's a lot like the others, it's easy to use. So they did a good job with that. A couple other details: you can download stuff for offline viewing. There is no 4K content right now. Like we said, not a lot of original programming and light on details, and not a lot of bonus content, which is another thing Disney Plus does well. Is give you extra bonus content. I didn't see a lot here. And it's right now, it's only in the US. And because of a contract with Sky in the UK with HBO, Sky plays all of HBO stuff. It may not be available in the UK for like 5 years.
Oh, shit.
I would say, just look, because I'm scrolling through the Turner Classics, and they have a lot.
Yeah.
It is impressive. They have a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah, the TCM one is good.
Their collection is worthy of attention. The problem, I think, is they have to figure out they're the most expensive streaming app. Number one. Yep. And they have to figure out a way to market this to people so that it's easily understandable what they have and why you should have this. Because I think they have a lot of content, and I think they could be successful. But I also think being the most expensive and kind of with this like mixed marketing and not being on every platform, I think they have to kick that into gear pretty quickly to make sure that they don't miss out on their opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Like, they do have a good product, and it could be even better. They have, and that they have tons more shit that could be on there that can make it even better. Mm-hmm. And if they just figured out like how to display it properly, how to get people to understand the identity, like you're 100% on, Anthony, like about they need to figure out what this app is.
Right.
I will say this. It's still better than Amazon Prime. I don't understand why Amazon Prime has the shittiest interface, the weirdest shit. It's so confusing.
Amazon Prime sucks. The Amazon Prime solely exists now.
Yeah.
Just to like be an outlet for you to purchase things you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, I get free shipping. Oh, I get to watch all this shit too.
Well, I'm saying like even for movies, like you could, like if you're not on any, you can rent a movie.
They become like the digital rental place where
like 80% of the time you could find it on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean they have some.
I don't even use it. I use YouTube.
I know.
That's how shitty I think the interface is on
Prime. It's so bad. So this is way better than that. I mean, it is on par with your Disney Plus and your Netflix.
It's better. Like the content is better.
Yes,
it's much more well-rounded than Disney Plus.
Yes.
It just.
Yes.
I keep harping on it. I think identity is really important. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know when you say HBO Max, what does that mean to people?
See, I think that the problem with Amazon Prime is, not to digress.
Yeah.
Too late.
That they're not only just creating an app for an experience, they're trying to sell you everything under the rug. They're like trying to sell you Showtime.
I don't think they give a fuck
buy
what
that.
the interface looks
And
like.
it's just too much.
They're like,
It
just
is.
buy shit. We don't care.
Yeah, it is weird because I remember, Imran, I texted you about some movie that I was going to watch, and it was like I had to do a 7-day trial of Epics.
Yes, you have to add it on. And
you always have to do these add-ons to watch movies that you think are free.
Yes.
Same thing with Hulu, actually.
Yeah.
Hulu's a piece of shit.
Hulu, I like Hulu a little bit better, but it does the same thing. You're absolutely right. But you could get HBO Max on the Hulu, like we said. So
I hate when they cock tease you and you think you got it,
on.
and then you're like,
I got a
with subscription of
fuck.
this.
Ooh, what the fuck?
Get the fuck out of here.
It's
There
not.
you go.
Like, why can't you just go into this is what I can get?
Yeah.
Like, let me go into my section. Like, let me go to level 1. Okay.
Yeah.
I have level 1. What's on level 1?
Yeah.
Don't fucking jerk me off with fucking what's on level 5.
Level 5
when I'm
access,
not level
not
5.
granted. Sign up today. Fuck off. Let me just give everyone who has HBO Max one solid recommendation. Stop whatever you're doing, and you have to go watch this show. It is under the edgy animation, under the Adult Swim hub. It is Jendi Tartovsky's Primal. Holy shit, there's 5 episodes.
Welcome to 6 months ago.
I know. This came out last year on Adult Swim, and I didn't watch
Imran, I know
it.
about being late to the game, so I'm with you.
Look, it's something new to me.
Oh, it's awesome. It's great. And I can't wait for season 2.
Holy shit, this is the guy who did Samurai Jack. It is some amazing animation, amazingly drawn. Anthony, it is a story about a prehistoric cave person. Is that even politically correct? I don't know.
Sure.
Cave person who befriends a T-Rex. So in this prehistory,
Cinephiles don't have time for this kind of
man
stuff.
and dinosaur. No, if you are a Godzilla fan, if you are a King Kong fan, if you like giant monster movies,
It's got no dialogue.
there's
Anthony.
no dialogue. It is a top-notch class in visual storytelling. If you want to be a comic book artist, if you want to direct movies, you want to do storyboards, you have to watch this. It is fucking gorgeous. It reminds me of like Alex Toth comics come to life. The battles between, there's giant bats and spiders and woolly mammoths, and there's fighting the T-Rex, and he's riding the fucking T-Rex, and it's violent and brutal. I was blown away. This is like some of the best animation cartoon thing I've seen in a long time. And I was like, this is alone worth it.
And it's old school.
Yes, it's all 2D animated, hand-drawn animation.
Yeah, check it out, definitely.
Everyone check it out. With that being said, let's wrap this up with the most important question. Is this worth it? Anthony.
You know, it's tough to say right now because I don't actually feel, thanks to our Patreon listeners, I don't actually feel the hit on my wallet.
Sure.
But is it worth it right now? I would say, $15?
Yeah.
It's tough to say. I think it's, yeah, I think there is a lot on here. As someone that enjoys, as a newly found Roman Polanski.
Yes, we'll get into that. Yes,
I do enjoy the fact that there's just a lot on here.
Regs, is it worth it? Would you recommend someone pay $15 for this? Is it worth
feel like
$15 a
that
month?
I'm looking at the potential of this, and I think it's fucking bonkers how much shit Warner Brothers owns. So it'd be stupid not to have it. If they hop on this whole making exclusive stuff,
Yeah. Wait till that shows up.
It's gonna be a done deal.
I also agree. I kind of think it's worth it. I need to have HBO. Like, I'm addicted to HBO. I can never not have HBO. So you have all that great content, and if you've never seen any of that shit, you're gonna be blown away. But this, what's coming, what they have, the depth of things. Like, one of our Patreon movies is The Lord of the Rings. So now here is a place we can all watch it.
I started watching it already.
So
Today.
I kind of think it's worth the money. You can cancel, but now I can't cancel my HBO on my Comcast because I don't get HBO Max on the big TV downstairs because it's not on the Comcast or Amazon Fire.
Oh, I'm canceling that shit tomorrow.
Otherwise, I would.
Do you still have HBO Go? Remember?
I think so because I still pay for HBO through the Xfinity plan. Oh, because you're using that,
HBO.
Motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
And some of these movies I want to be able to watch on a regular TV.
Yeah.
And I think they still have them on HBO
So
Go.
I'll still pay for that.
They got to work out this whole Roku thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. That is a huge misstep. Listener, let us know what you thought if you got the HBO Max. Do you like it? Do you think it's worth it? Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. All of our awesome, lovely, talented, smart, creative, good-looking listeners hang out in there. We hang out in there, and it's a fun, geeky time. It's closed just for you. Welcome new members to the group this week. Jack Hudek, Sean Gilbert, Allison Meadus, and Lyle Pringle, who is, of course, heir to, the Pringles chips empire. He will inherit it. Good for you, Lyle. Send some of that Pringle money this way. All right, moving on. We're going to stick with Warner Brothers because this crazy news came out. Apparently, Henry Cavill now in talks to return as Superman.
Oh, shit.
For Warner Brothers without a mustache, all normal. Now, if you're expecting a Man of Steel 2, a sequel, sorry, don't hold your breath. It is said
it'll happen
eventually. Right now, they're saying Cavill's Superman will operate in a similar capacity to Marvel's use of Nick Fury or the Hulk appearing in films for a supporting role or smaller cameos. The future has not been yet decided, and they're still figuring it out. But, you have Shazam, you have Black Adam, where you could have a Superman cameo. You got Aquaman 2. I wouldn't mind if they used them as like the through line through these movies until he gets his movie way later. What do you guys think? Are you happy that he's going to come back, I guess?
I thought he was never the reason why these movies were failing. I thought the scripts were always written terribly, and they digitally removed a mustache on the guy, so I don't think he's actually ever gotten a good shot at actually owning the role.
I feel so bad for him. You'd think he wanted to play a Superman with a mushy upper lip.
Oh, shit.
No.
I think Man of Steel was an intro movie, right? Yeah. It was a origin film.
Right.
And we never got to see Superman as he should be, as the hero that he is. Yeah. And he deserves to get that at some point. I really think that's the reason why they went back to him, because everybody who was a fan of those movies knows that he wasn't the problem.
Yeah. No, he's a solid Superman. He just needs a better fucking script.
Yeah, so let him fucking have his moment in the light and not with a fucking CG mustache or whatever, CG lip.
But again, Warner Brothers
let him fucking be Superman.
They're so silly, and they pivot, and they don't know what they're doing. Remember, after all that fiasco, they were like, oh, we're going to put Superman on hold. We're going to focus on this Supergirl movie. Well, now they're like, we're not doing Supergirl. Let's
stop blaming it on him.
Fucking Henry Cavill back.
Look,
they don't know what to do with this character.
Cavill or Brandon Routh, they're both good Supermans. They're both different, but they're both great. So you have fucking good Superman actors. Use them.
Yeah, please. They don't. Fucking Warner Brothers just doesn't know what to do sometimes. It's astonishing. Let's move on to the Snyder Cut, because I got some updates. And if you think this Henry Cavill news means, hey, we may see him do some new shots for the Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max, you're also going to be very wrong. They said there will be no reshoots with original cast members. They still may return to do dialogue, but nobody's shooting any new shit. Nobody's getting into the costumes. Also, the funniest thing, remember we talked about how this may cost like $20 to $30 million additional investment? Chairman of Warner Media and head of HBO Max, Bob Greenblatt, said in an interview, he goes, it does exist, the cut, Zach is building it, and then he goes, I wish it was just $30 million and stop there.
Oh, shit.
Meaning it's probably going to cost a lot more money. And I don't know if that's worth the investment.
This dude seems like he wants to kind of redeem himself.
Yeah.
I feel like either that or he's just fucking bonkers.
It always fascinates me, like just in business alone, because I think Netflix still loses money.
Yeah,
like you spend what is it? Not 30. It's going to be more.
Yeah, now it's
50 million. Like
yeah.
how is that even possible? And you're only charging $15 a month.
How many subscribers does it take?
How many subscribers do you need, and how long do you have to keep them loyal?
Yeah,
because the way it works is they're guaranteed that money.
Right.
All right, and the movie coming out, like people going to the movies maybe once every few months, that's not guaranteed money.
Absolutely.
And they get half of that. So
but these streaming,
they're really making more money.
I think
it's coming in.
Streaming services gotta operate at a loss for a long time.
They burn cash, like, for sure.
Before it turns. Like, it's not going to be any profit for a while.
Yeah, I thought I read, I might be wrong, that Netflix still loses money.
Oh, I'm sure.
I know Amazon still loses money.
Jesus.
But why do you think Netflix loses so much money?
Because they invest a lot in original content. So they're always churning.
They're making
out
50 action movies like Extraction. That's why.
Yeah.
One after another.
But when you have But the thing is, Netflix doesn't have the library that, let's say, the WB does, let's say that. So, like, these companies like the WB are at an advantage. They have all this stuff.
Netflix has got a super huge head start in branding and awareness, in the technology itself of making it a good experience. They pretty much invented it.
The algorithms, they invented all of that stuff.
So it's back to the Snyder Cut. Remember, we were kind of making fun of like the backlash of every fucking movie director is gonna want his own cut of the movie, and well, it's kind of happening.
Oh shit!
David Ayer goes, "Oh, there is an Ayer cut. It does exist, and it would be really easy to finish." After he says the Edward Scissorhands treatment the movie got, so I'm sure there's gonna be a whole fucking fan campaign for that.
I don't think it's as strong as the Snyder.
I don't think as many people are gonna want that. Josh Trank. And whatever you say about Josh Trank, he is very self-aware. He knows what he's done. He goes, there's no need for a Trank cut. People are like, well, release the Trank cut.
That's good. Yeah. That's a classy move from him.
Definitely. He's like, no, you don't trust me. There's no need. And then this is the weirdest one, just popped up recently. Hashtag make Solo 2 happen.
What?
This hashtag goes viral as fans want a sequel to Solo, a Star Wars story, a movie that arguably was entirely unnecessary to begin with.
I mean, if you really love Han Solo and you want to see what happens, the fine.
Was
but
okay.
A lot of people do want to see that.
Alden Ehrenreich was all right. I don't think this is necessary.
I think that the movie was fine.
Yeah.
I just don't think that anybody cares about it that much.
You know, spoilers, if you remember,
spoiler alert.
At the end, they kind of set up the whole Darth Maul thing. I think people want to see more of Kira, of, what's her name? Emilia Clarke as Kira and Darth Maul.
Solo is a classic movie that you enjoy it and you never think about it.
And then you forget about it. Now, if you want to make a Disney Plus TV show with Alden Ehrenreich and fucking Danny Glover as Lando, and it's like a buddy space fucking crazy adventure like an Indiana Jones, but in Star Wars, I'll fucking watch that all day. That sounds fun. But I don't think we need a sequel to a movie that we really didn't need in the first place.
All right, fine. Make it a show.
Make it happen. I don't know.
Half-hour series like the fucking Mandalorian.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, dude, I watched that documentary, The Gallery on Disney, about the Mandalorian. I recommend everyone watch episode 4. It's about the technology, and it fucking blew me away how they did this show. They really get into what Favreau learned on The Lion King, using green screens and projection lighting, and then adding that to what he learned, on the Jungle Book first, and then adding a VR shooting environment that he used on The Lion King that had nobody live. It was cameramen in a virtual world. Combining these two, coming up with the room, they call it the volume, that has screens all the way around and on top, and making that happen. It was super amazing, and some of the shit blew me away where technology is, what they can do now. It was really cool. So I can't wait to see season 2.
I'm excited to see that.
Check out episode 4. It's very good. And since we've been talking a lot about fucking DC shit in the past few weeks, I need to talk about some Marvel shit. I need to talk about Spider-Man a little bit. We have to.
Talking nerd.
Come on, it wouldn't be.
Geek boner.
I feel like we just haven't talked about Spider-Man in so long. And it's kind of not even a huge story, but I'm going to throw it in there because it's crazy. Remember back when they were talking about the Silver and Black movie in 2018?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That was terrible.
Silver Sable, Black
idea.
Cat. And then there was a mention of a jackpot film in development. Apparently, they were serious about Jackpot, not the other ones. This film has been in development since 2018, and turns out Arrowverse boss showrunner Mark Guggenheim is writing the screenplay, and he's been writing it for 2 years, meaning it's almost over. Now I know what everyone is saying. Who the fuck is Jackpot?
Exactly.
And I don't know. I don't know.
You read Spider-Man and you don't even know.
This was like a mid-2000s creation.
I just remember that she was, I thought it was Mary Jane for the longest time.
Not Mary Jane. It's a character named Sarah Arrett and then another Alana Jacobson. It's a superhuman. It's a lady who gets superhuman powers through messing with her DNA and a virus and blah, blah, blah. It is a Dan Slott creation. Ruds.
Yeah.
Rud Boy's
immediately,
boy.
Immediately stupid.
First appearance 2007. I've never read anything. Dan Slott, Phil Jimenez drawing. Never read anything with fucking...
Phil Jimenez,
he's good.
Okay,
He's good. Yeah.
I'll check that out.
But I don't know. Again, Sony's universe of Marvel characters is weird.
It's just stupid because it's like, this is Dan Slott's genius.
Yeah.
He's like, you sitting there, do the little like thing where you put your fingers together like fucking Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Like he's like, ooh, I'm going to make a person that looks like Mary Jane.
Yes, but she has power.
To be one of Spider-Man's like frenemies.
Yes, that's what they are.
Ooh, that's so smart.
None of this makes me...
You dumbass.
None of this gives me any
Geek boner
for this movie.
Floppy jock.
In fact, hold on. I'm going to debut a new sound clip, Ruggs. I found your spiritual other in movie critics. Your brother in arms, someone you share a spirit animal with. Here it is.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
There you go. That's you, Ruggs. You know who that is?
No.
You don't know who that is?
It stinks? No, who's that?
Come on. This is an old school deep cut. Jess Rivera actually suggested this. It's John Lovitz as the character, the Critic.
Oh, the Critic.
Remember the Critic spinoff from The Simpsons?
Oh, that's a good
And
poll.
every show would open with him showing, like he shows like a clip of Alien 3 animated and he turns to the camera and he goes, it stinks. So it's the opposite of this.
I love this movie.
So now we got the opposite, but it reminded me of Rock Boy.
Did you watch the Seinfeld special that's on Netflix?
No, I need like Seinfeld before Seinfeld.
No, it was a Seinfeld.
The comedy special.
He was live for like New York for like a residency for a while.
Yes.
And one of the jokes that he says is so fucking true.
Yeah.
Is that there's a thin line between sucks and great.
Yes.
And that is completely up to the person.
Yes, it sucks. Great. Is it great?
So like I could get out of a movie and go, that shit was great.
Yeah.
And then you go, that sucks. And then it doesn't really matter. Like anything. It could go from being complete shit to being fucking amazing, depending on who sees it and what they think.
Absolutely. And he's like, you always put the two things together. Like he's like, you go and you drop your ice cream cone and you go, great. That sucks. Like it's always together. It's a good special. I like the first half of the special. He's channeling George Carlin. He's ranty. And then the second half kind of peters out. It falls flat for me.
Yeah.
The first half of that hour.
You should have just done 1 hour.
Yes. Oh, it was an hour. The first half hour was great.
You should have just done a half hour.
Imran, I got something I want to share real quick.
Yeah.
As you were talking about Spider-Man, because I could really care less about the jackpot. I was on HBO Max.
Oh.
And I'm watching Son of Godzilla as we speak. And Son of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Is it subtitled?
It is subtitled.
Nice.
That's nice. Two things.
Yeah.
Number one, with it kind of being enhanced, you can really see the wires on Kumonga.
Oh, no.
It kind of takes you out of it, but it's also kind of charming.
Yeah.
Also, the Japanese girl in Son of Godzilla, very hot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Really cute.
Oh, I'm going to have to watch this.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents
now
on
that
your
they're
Spider-Man
just so accessible, like I'll probably get...
I just like that you tuned into that one during the show.
It's been so long since I've seen Son of Godzilla.
Let me watch the worst Godzilla movie.
I'm going to watch these Godzilla movies.
Or one of the worst.
Now that they're here.
It is one of the worst ones.
Really?
And I was just like, I need to see this
You know
fight
what I
between
remember
him
about that
and Kumonga.
movie is that it takes so long to get to like Godzilla.
To do anything, really, yeah.
It just takes forever.
But the girl, I don't remember this girl being so hot. She's like really cute. Wow. Yeah, but HD is not made for old Godzilla films. That's and the editing is always so bad.
Yeah.
You'll see, like, I'm watching this and you'll see Godzilla throw a rock at the spider.
Yeah.
Hit him on the head, and the spider flips over on his back.
Yes.
It's insane, this editing. I couldn't believe... I forget how badly edited
You
these
tied
things
it back
were.
to Spider-Man because I have one more story from the New York Post, fellas. All right. From the New York Post, this article says 3 young Bolivian brothers were hospitalized after getting a black widow spider to bite them, thinking it would turn them into Spider-Man. According to the officials, the Marvel-loving siblings, ages 12, 10, and 8, found the spider.
I think they made that up. No one lets a fucking black widow bite them.
They found the spider while herding goats in Chayanta, a Ministry of Health official revealed. At a briefing Saturday, thinking it would give them superhero powers, they prodded it with a stick until it bit each of them in turn. Finding them crying, their mom rushed them to the nearby health center, which transferred them to the hospital. They were then transferred again to another hospital. They had fevers, tremors, muscle pains, but they were treated and discharged. So
they should have died.
Clearly, listen.
Just for being stupid.
Black widow spiders have venom 15 times stronger than a rattlesnake, and they are one of the most feared spiders in the world. This is where the big mistake was. They're not usually fatal, the black widow bites, but they're children. They clearly forgot to add the radiation.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you should have microwaved that spider first.
It's not just any spider, you idiots. This is like in Weird Science where they forgot to attach the doll.
Oh, shit.
Remember? And then they had a missile coming out of there. You got to put the doll. You got to add the radiation, boys. Try it again. Hopefully, next time, turns out a little bit better.
This story makes me want to shave my balls.
Yes, does it? Well, Ruggs, this is our last live read for Manscaped this month. Do you want to tell the listener about our awesome sponsor?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell them that the discount code is Jock and Nerd, and I guess support for the Jock and Nerd is brought to you by Manscaped.
Sure.
Perfect.
Who is the best in genital grooming. Okay. You got a precision engineered tool for your family jewels. It rhymes. It sounds great. That's why I just said it. They have the Lawnmower 3.0 that has a ceramic blade that keeps cool so it doesn't heat up your balls when you're trying to manscape them. And so you're not going to have an accident when you do it. And it's going to last up to 90 minutes so you can shave your balls, your asshole, your back.
My balls was hot.
Your front, whatever you want to shave, your armpits, your nose, whatever you got to do. Get in there. Okay, it's got an LED light so you can do it in the dark. And they got a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke, which is like the kind of stroke that you do when you have a roommate.
I do that every night, the quiet stroke. Yeah. Nice.
Figure that one out. All right, so you can get 20% off with the code at manscaped.com.
What's the code?
It's Jock and Nerd, all in capitals for some reason. All right, and trim that junk.
Your balls will thank you. Anthony, you want to add anything?
Yes.
We use the product?
I used it the other day. I was getting a little hairy down there. I used it, and it trimmed everything up within, usually, so before I had Manscaped, I would use scissors.
Oh, boy. That's dangerous. Yeah. Holy shit, no.
So now it takes me like less than 5 minutes, and it's super, super awesome. I also have a friend that is now using Manscaped, and he was using the clippers that he cut his hair with, and that's kind of gross.
That's also gross.
So now he has two separate clippers.
You should have a separate one.
I'm glad I have the Lawnmower 3.0. Previously, I was using like a butcher's knife. You know, those big square butcher. That's all I had. You got to sharpen it up. It's very tricky. I almost gave myself a circumcision on top of my circumcision. But now with the Manscaped 3.0.
You're circumcised? That's a Jewish thing.
Yeah, it's a Jewish and Muslim thing. We've gone over this. Depends on your religion. Right. It's easy to guess. But I want to thank all the listeners, all our awesome, loyal fans that have been using the code. You know, we talked last week. I think Jose Ibarra used it.
Our fans have clean balls.
Yes, they are all going to have the nicest balls. Steve Morrison commented, try the Jock and Nerd promo code on the Canadian Manscaped site, and it works.
Jock and Nerd.
Thanks to our weak dollar, it's a hefty discount. I'm working to make sure you guys keep that sponsor, boys. Thank you, Steve Morrison. And I believe Lisa Morrison will also be thanking you because you're nice and trimmed. Fiddlesticks found an amazing deal. It's the Perfect Package 3.0 plus the Peak Hygiene Plan. You get the Perfect Package with the Crop Reviver, Crop Preserver, the travel bag, but then you also get disposable shaving mats and you get a subscription for blade refills every 3 months. You can cancel anytime, and you get $60 worth of gifts. And if you use the code on that, it's an even better deal with the discount. So Fiddlesticks, well done. And he also bought an Ewin Racing gaming chair. He's using all our codes to get discounts on stuff.
Good for him.
No, it's been a great month of Manscaped promotions, and we'll see what happens. Thank you very much. Keep using the code. Your balls will thank you. Let's take a quick break here for some promos, and we'll be back as we return to listener-sponsored Patreon movie reviews right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Do you like Florida Man? Do you like crazy shit? Do you like titties and strip clubs? Why are you laughing?
Because I do. You know I do. This is the show for you. We're the hashtag No Offense Show.
I'm the Duchess.
That's the Duchess. That's my lovely wife. My name is Chris, and we talk about all that stuff in addition to our daily lives as parents, what we're watching on TV, current events, anything that we could try to talk about to make you laugh. Look for us on the web at htnos.com, all the socials at htnos, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.
We're available everywhere.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Carol.
And we're the hosts of Retro Late Fee. We are stuck in 1994.
And we can't get out.
We're watching all the movies and TV shows that you probably remember, I guess. Somehow we're speaking to you through some kind of time portal.
Right.
Join us every week for great movies and TV shows from 25 years ago.
It's fun, I swear.
And
Listener, if you enjoy the show, if we make you chuckle or laugh or cringe or get any kind of reaction, you should join our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon, where you can support the show on a monthly basis and get a bunch of bonus swag. There's multiple tiers to pledge at, and everyone gets bonus content. Another whole podcast feed where you get early access to the shows. They come out early, and lots of bonus audio and post shows and movie reviews and Corona binge reports. Before we get into what was posted this week, if you are on the Patreon, you will be getting a message from us from Patreon about some new tax updates they're doing beginning July 1st. And basically, they said that the government is now requiring them to tax donations differently.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of
bullshit.
It's kind of annoying, but there's really nothing they could do about it. But don't worry, patrons and listeners, there was a helpful video from Jack Conte, the creator of Patreon, and he walks you through how to tweak the sales tax tiers so that the least amount is taxed from the listener. And also, these changes won't be happening everywhere. It's all depends on your state you are in the country.
Oh, I thought like your physical state.
Well, it also
like
depends on your mental state.
You probably get taxed a little more because you're an idiot.
Tax.
You can't.
Oh, shit.
Ah, fuck.
If I had to pay a stoner tax, I would be broke. Let me tell you. But so it's not for everyone. It's not black and white. It all depends on where you're located. All the information is in. Check your Patreon messages. We send an email. We send a message with links. It's all cool. Everything's going to be fine. Everyone relax. Put your tweets away. Anthony, Corona binge reports this week. You had some, but Rug Boy, you did put up the two you mentioned last week, which were
Raid 2 and Desperado.
Raid 2, which is free because it is sponsored by our patron saint of awesome,
Talking Nerd,
and Desperado, the Rug Boy edition. Anthony, what'd you watch? What did you watch this week?
Last week, leading up to this recording the show, I watched Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yummy, with Nutella on toasted bread. That's yummy.
Similar.
Okay.
Waves, The Martian, and on Memorial Day, I felt it was appropriate to watch Zero Dark 30.
Nice. That one I still haven't seen.
Yeah, I might watch more war movies this week, so it might be a whole war week. I've got Hacksaw Ridge, Lone Survivor, American Sniper, maybe of those movies that I'll throw on, or Dunkirk.
Oh, shit. You haven't seen any of those?
No, dude, I don't watch anything.
You're watching.
He's still busy getting laid. I forget how busy this dude was in. He was in business. He was in the woman business.
He's getting the Corona strange. Dude, The Martian is such a fucking great movie. Anytime it's on TV, it doesn't matter where it is, I will stop and I'll watch the movie.
It's very enjoyable. Not at all what I expected out of the movie, especially out of Ridley Scott.
It's Ridley Scott and Matt Damon, who's like super charming.
That's what I'm saying. Every once in a while, he pulls out a great movie out of his ass.
Yeah. It's so good. Like it multiple watches. You can watch it over and over again. It's fucking great.
It is a very charming film for something that is very bleak and desperate.
Also based in a lot of real science, though. I believe they talked to scientists to work out all that would work. So you can grow potatoes from shit on Mars, people.
Oh shit!
I don't know if you could do it on Mars, but the whole concept, there is some truth in that.
Also, I thought this was a good place to announce to everyone that we are now, all three of us, on the movie fan social app Letterboxd.
Talking Nerd.
Jock and Nerd style.
Yeah.
This is all because of you, Anthony. Talk to us about Letterboxd real quick.
Letterboxd is like a more friendly Yelp for movies, I would say. Cinephiles, movie fans, you can write reviews, you can diary what movies you're watching on what days. You can, as I mentioned, write reviews, give star ratings, make lists, read other people's ideas and thoughts on films. So it's basically what you want to make of the app. And I think I heard about it because I follow this guy on YouTube called The Oscar Expert, and he kept referencing Letterboxd. So I jumped on there, and I've just gotten addicted to it, and I've reviewed like 40, 50 movies, just like short paragraphs, but logged every movie that I can remember the day that I've watched it on since like April, and then just given ratings to over 350 movies already and create some lists. So I've gone nuts.
We are all kind of late to the game. I've known about this app. They've been around since 2011.
Oh, shit.
This has been a thing, but I've heard people talk about Letterboxd. I've seen the reviews. Ruggs, what are your thoughts on the Letterboxd? I think you feel like me. It seems like a lot of work initially.
Yeah, it's like Rotten Tomatoes Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
And I was like, do I want to be on this? Like, I don't want to like keep myself into one area, but
it's fun.
I figure, I guess I'll write some funny reviews. Like, I'll see if I can keep it to 3 or 4 lines and just try and be as funny as possible. Because I'm not gonna, like, if I could go down the rabbit hole and actually like write like an actual like essay.
Well, people
on a movie.
do. A lot of people, there's lengthy reviews.
Do you really want me to do that?
No one wants you to do
No one
that.
wants that.
No.
All right, well,
people want to hear your thoughts, but they don't want to see you write a serious essay.
But people also want followers, and there you can follow people. People follow you.
I've had random people follow me.
Me
already.
too.
Going,
Right
what
away.
Is this?
Yes, when I put it up. So let's give out our handles. Let's get some follows. Jump on Letterboxd. Join the fun. We can communicate there. Anthony, what is your handle?
Mine is one spelled O-N-E and A-N-D only TK, which is my first and last name initials.
My handle is Imran the Nerd. IMRAN the Nerd. I'll put all these in the show notes in case you
I think
forget.
I'm just Rug Boy.
And yours is just Rug Boy Rugs?
I'm pretty sure.
I will put it.
Let me look it up real quick. I think you might be Rugberto Bambino, but let me look it up just real quick.
Okay.
Well, what's your handle? Is your handle what people look up, what you're signed in as? Is your username?
There's also
or
a
is
nickname
that...
because Anthony, your nickname is the Jock Anthony.
Yeah, the Jock Anthony, yeah.
So you can, I think you can search for that too.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you look up the Jock Anthony, you'll find me.
Yeah.
Rug Boy, if you look up Rugberto Bambino, you'll find him.
I will put all this in.
Use my full name.
Yeah, the Jock Anthony is easier to look up.
Yes. That's why mine is Imran the Nerd and then Rugberto Bambino. All of this will be in the show notes. And this is to say join our fan club, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. And it'll be lots of fun.
I have to shout out a few listeners, though. I already... By posting that I was on Letterboxd and just giving it a nice little thumbs up.
Yeah.
We got a few listeners that also decided to join.
Yeah.
Fiddlesticks Winterbottom is on there.
Nice.
Trukowski has been on here.
Yeah.
Joe Henry is under Joe Havoc.
Okay.
And Blake Braden is under Educated Blade.
Yeah, Blake's on there. He followed me too.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And when I have time, it is a great way to remember what you watched right away and look back and be like, oh yeah, I watched this. So
I like the aspect of you can rewatch a film and put that you're watching it again and give it a new review.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's what you make of it, right?
Yeah.
So there's no pressure on doing anything.
Yeah.
And I like the comparison that Rug Boy made. It is like fan Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's like a fan Rotten Tomatoes, but it's great. It's great, and it can be addictive.
Fiddlesticks is really fucking on that thing.
Fiddlesticks.
He's went nuts.
I can't believe he didn't know about this already, Fiddlesticks.
He's making lists.
Come on, Fiddles. Also on our Patreon, back to the Patreon for a second, if you give us $10 a month or more, you get the option to force us to watch and review any movie you want. We've done about 30 of these, maybe 28, 30, and we still are in round 2. So it's a great time to sign up now at $10 if you are new, because your movie will get bumped to the top, and we are going to do another Patreon movie right now. This week's movie is the 1993 action pick Last Action Hero.
Talking nerd.
And since it's an Arnold movie, guess what's back, everyone?
I'm a cop, you idiot.
We gotta
Oh yeah, the soundboard.
We gotta have the soundboard.
Just do it.
Here's your spoiler alert.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Do it now.
Do it now. Strap yourselves in. This one is sponsored by, dedicated to listener, Patreon supporter, Jesse Rodriguez.
I'm just doing my job.
His first pick was Roadhouse, which we were all so happy that we got to watch that movie.
Yeah,
still
it's good to revisit
one of my
that one.
favorite reviews we've had. And we got to thank him for being a patron for 21 months.
Talking nerd.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jesse.
Jesse, you hit that 24-month period. You could send us another fucking movie.
Eat me.
Sorry. Excuse me, Arnold. This Last Action Hero on Rotten Tomatoes. 36%.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Average rating 4.86 out of 10.
Now, where should we go?
We'll go to the box office. This movie was made for about $85 million. Finishes at $137 million. Yeah, not
good.
Not the greatest. This movie, directed by John McTiernan. We'll get into what he did in a second. Written by, here's where things get funky. And you guys, just real quick before we get to the movie, I have to say this will turn into an impromptu what the fuck happened session. All apologies to Delhauer, because once I started digging into the backstory, and you can see a lot of this happening in the movie, it's a wild, wild story, and it completely makes sense what the fuck happened in this movie. So, directed by John McTiernan, written by Zach Penn and Adam Leff get story credits, and then Shane Black and David Arnott get screenplay credits. Here is your first clue. Whenever a screenplay and story are written by completely different people, that's not good. That's not a good sign. Of course, like we said, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, this fictional action star Jack Slater. You have F. Murray Abraham, who killed Mozart in this movie. Art Carney, the great Art Carney, in his last appearance on film. Anthony, do you even know who Art Carney is? He played Frank in the movie within the movie.
Do I know who he is outside of this movie? No.
Yes. Art Carney was Ed Norton against Jackie Gleason's Ralph Cramden in The Honeymooners. One of the greatest fucking comic guys back in the day then, still. Super funny. And this was the last movie, and he looks really old. Charles Dance in here as Benedict. Another great performance by Charles.
Well, you got the other guy, Anthony.
Charles Dance. Anthony Quinn.
Yeah.
Another great actor as Vivaldi. You have Austin O'Brien as the lead kid, Danny Madigan. And then tons of cameos, which we'll get into later.
The most important one being Al Young.
Dude, Al Young. The dude that's in every
Genghis
movie.
Khan is in this.
Is
That's all you
in
need to
this,
know.
you don't have an action movie or a spoof action movie without Al Young. You can't. You don't do it.
I think that was the biggest reaction I had when I rewatched this movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, that motherfucker's in this too.
Yeah. And then Mercedes Rule as Danny's mom, who's also very good actress.
Right.
We have all seen this movie prior, yes?
Yes, I have.
Yes, I've seen this a few times.
A child, though, when I've watched
Okay,
this.
yeah. This also, it's been years since I watched this movie. So, Anthony, you're always good at giving a nice, concise plot of these movies. Give us the fucking synopsis.
I mean, this movie is a meta satire on the action film genre and just kind of a love letter to movies in general up until that point. It is it's a wish fulfillment movie about a kid that is like a loner that lost his dad and loves movies, loves Jack Slater, who's played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, ends up getting a magic ticket and getting involved in the movie, and then this magic ticket creates this parallel world where the movie is its own reality, his world, the reality of the kid is its own reality, and they can go back and forth, and it's just bonkers, really.
You know, going back to the creative people a little bit, we just went over the numbers. This movie has the director of Die Hard, the writer of Lethal Weapon, and the motherfucking Terminator.
Oh, shit.
And it's a critical and commercial
Floppy Jock.
fucking flop. It's kind of amazing and crazy.
Corporate filmmaking.
Who wants to start? Let's open up the discussion. Opening thoughts. Let's jump into this meta movie within a movie, meta commentary on action movies.
Pick someone.
Ruggs. Watching it again.
I mean, we can start with the biggest error in this movie besides the script being terrible.
Yes.
Which is, you can have a terrible script and have Arnold in the movie and save the movie.
Yeah.
Like, Commando.
Yeah.
That fucking movie was terrible, but because Arnold was in it, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And many other movies that Arnold's in are terrible movies, but because Arnold's in there, he elevates the movie. Now, Arnold needed something to weigh him down so much that he couldn't save this movie.
Yeah.
And that was Danny Madigan.
Yes.
That kid fucking destroyed this movie.
All apologies to Austin O'Brien, but the kid is not good.
Yeah, he looks like Renee Zellweger.
You know what? So Austin O'Brien has been in The Lawnmower Man and My Girl 2, and that's about it. And I'm sorry, Austin. I know you're still acting. I don't know, his last credits from 2015.
It's not really his fault. I guess he was just doing his job, but they shouldn't have cast him.
That was a miscast.
And the dialogue did not help. When he turns to Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie and says, "My name is Danny Madigan. I'm a kid." Like, fucking Arnold doesn't know that you're a kid. Like, who wrote that line? I'm a kid. This is my job in the movie. I'm the kid. Oh my God. I cringe every time I hear that. I mean, just a lot of the stuff that Danny has to do in this movie is cringeworthy. So the cringe factor of this kid is just, even if they were trying to make a satire of the cringy kid, it was damaging to this film.
Yeah.
And I think that they had other problems with this movie. I think another big problem with this movie is that they went all over the place. Like, okay, Danny Madigan loves Jack Slater.
Yeah.
He gets the golden ticket and gets it to a Jack Slater movie, right?
Very Willy Wonka.
But now,
Cinderella.
is a Jack Slater movie a movie that has women walking around with handlebars, like a fucking a fashion show?
Well,
no,
but you're talking about all the in-movie.
Is there an animated cat in Jack Slater movies? No.
Yeah,
so they just start throwing all kinds of bullshit in there.
Yes.
And it ruins it. If they would have just kept to the Jack Slater thing and then maybe used the alternate, all these other worlds, like when they exited and they started coming out and realizing that the movie ticket can take into any movie, then that would be cool. But they kind of like blew their load and ruined it.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I'm telling you it's wrong.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Oh, the whole movie, Arnold. You tried. Look, this movie deals with various realities, yes, but none of the realities have any kind of rules. The realities are wonky. A lot of it doesn't make sense why there's in-movie references to other movies when he's in the movie. On the other hand, it has all the Arnold Schwarzenegger staples. It's got one-liners. It's got him playing a guy with an Anglo-white name that he loves to do, Jack Slater. Clearly, he's an awesome.
Well, the meta Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff is great.
He's got multiple Arnolds. That's always the thing he does. It's got contrived, over-the-top action. But I felt like the movie didn't know it was being pulled in too many directions. Like you said, is it an action movie? Is it a spoof of an action movie? Is it
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That's what it felt like.
Is it a kid's movie? Is it a comedy fantasy? Is it a commentary on action movies using an action movie? Like, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Anthony, what did you think watching it again all these years later?
So you guys are going to be surprised. I liked this movie.
Oh, shit.
I had a great time with it. I felt it was bonkers, and I agree. Like, I could see that it was just being pulled in a ton of directions. It's a wish fulfillment. It's an action movie. It's a meta movie. It's a spoof. It's everything.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I just growing up liking the 80s and 90s action genre, I just enjoyed all the meta references.
Absolutely.
To everything.
Yes.
And I just laughed at everything. I just thought, I just had a great time with the fact that at times it was taking itself very unseriously, and then at times it was a little serious. I enjoyed, especially when they get to the end, when they are now in the real world and Arnold Schwarzenegger is punching a cab, and he's like, you can't do that in this world. It's going to actually hurt. You're like, why does my hand hurt? Like, all these different things where it's just like the action movie tropes are acknowledged in this.
Oh,
and it's
this
isn't real. Like this.
Yes.
If for me, it was like, if you can enjoy the action era of like the 80s, 90s, but also realize that like that shit was ridiculous. This movie was that for me, and I really enjoyed it.
I think in some ways you can argue this movie was a little bit ahead of its time, and yes, taken at that level, it makes complete sense because it has all your action movie tropes. It's got the opening scene taking place at Christmas that Shane Black always does. The cop dies 2 days before retirement. There's a loud yelling police captain.
All the girls are super hot for some
Angie
reason.
Everhart. I love that line where he's like, "This isn't a movie. Look at all these attractive women."
All the contrivances are acknowledged.
Yes.
Like, that's just too convenient.
Yes.
Well, it's a movie.
There's also intentional continuity errors if you watch carefully.
I don't know why it clicked for me. I even saw the reviews.
Yeah.
So usually when I like watch look at Rotten Tomatoes or something before I watch a movie, it kind of like sways what I'm going to think. And I saw all the four, like the average critic rating being like 4, or like the percentage being like in 40%.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I clicked at the movie. I don't know why.
See, like I was a teenager when I saw this movie.
Yeah.
I remember coming out of it going, some of it was funny, but I really hated the kid.
Kid is so bad.
Then I watched it as an adult and like analyzed what were they trying to do, and did they do it correctly? And I'm like, no, they fucking blew it majorly. I mean, they just like threw like whatever rules they had out the window, anything that they were guiding the movie by out the window to just try and put in the most jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now this is a Naked Gun movie, like where like it doesn't matter. And so like, I feel like that for John McTiernan to allow this thing to go awry like that, I feel like it's a failure.
Oh, wait till we get to the what the fuck happens, and there's a reason all this happens. But there is stuff in here that I like. The concept to me.
There's some things that are actually really cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, all the meta stuff is actually really fucking clever.
I love the concept. What kid doesn't want to jump into his favorite movie? Like, this could have been an incredible Wizard of Oz, Cinderella type fucking thing, and it kind of was.
For me, I throw it in the like, oh my gosh, John McTiernan did it again. I don't know obviously I know how you guys feel, but like Predator, for instance, is an awesome mashup of sci-fi and a slasher film, right?
Yeah.
And then Die Hard
Die Hard's
is like
amazing.
Taking the 80s action hero and making him a normal guy.
It's one of the best
and then
action
this movie,
movies ever.
I also feel he's doing the same thing. He's taking the genre and twisting it a little bit. I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
He did. There's aspects of that where that really works, Anthony, and that's maybe what grabbed you.
That's definitely, yep.
I think that there is what the argument that you're making is actually sound argument. Like, yes, he did successfully lampoon that era of 80s action film, and he managed to get Arnold to lampoon himself. Those all work. It's just when you can kind of see a better artistic film then you know that this director is capable of more.
Yeah.
Then you start being like, you start to think, because honestly, like they took too long to get to do certain things. Like some of the stuff was stretched out and didn't really add any value.
Like, did we really need the Leo the Fart fucking funeral scene? That was super long. What the fuck was that about? It was hilarious.
That was long. I will agree with that. Yes.
So I feel like, okay, like the crux of the movie here is this is what I've been able to piece together every time I've seen it. It said, all right, so Danny Madigan's his kid who's lost his father. He looks at Jack Slater as a father figure. By some twist of fate, you know, that magic comes into the picture and he's able to actually meet Jack Slater and go into his world. All right. At a certain point where you've now addressed that this kid who's seen every single one of his movies and is kind of cynical about them, but still loves them, he's pointing out all of the meta stuff.
Do you see how clever that could have been, though? A kid that knows all the tropes goes in.
The bad guy gets the ticket and decides to go over into the other world, and they all cross over to this world. And then we can kind of put the reality of our world into like how it doesn't work with an action film. And one of my favorite parts of this movie is when the bad guy shoots someone and goes, "I've just killed someone."
Yes.
Is anybody going to do anything?
In New York.
Like in New York in the 80s. Like, it's
man.
like, it's fucking hilarious. Then there's like another plot of, okay, he figures out he can go into other movies and get other bad guys. And so those three things is great to set up. Okay, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 3 is going to be the bad guy going into all the books, getting all the bad guys. Yep. So you have all of this stuff that's really, they spent so much time and they kind of squandered a lot of that.
This is a case of all the potential is there. The ingredients are there. But when they cooked it in the pot, it ended up tasting like shit. The execution completely drops the ball on all the potential because there are so many clever things I was thinking about watching. I'm like, oh man, what a great idea to go in. You know the movie tropes. You know how everything works. You could get away with stuff. And they do a little bit of that, but then they just kind of it gets fuzzy, it gets messy, it gets convoluted.
They meandered a lot.
It was a simple idea that made unnecessarily convoluted and fuzzy
why
decisions.
did they have to have a cartoon cat in there? Why did they have to have like smoke coming out of the guy's ears?
I know, they got all cartoony.
Like they didn't have to go to that. Why did they have to have? They could have just shown hot girls. They didn't have to have hot
and
girls
like space
that were
outfits.
They were
like
wearing? Overdoing it
cones
almost
on their brassieres, like Madonna.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was going on? Can we talk about Charles Dance for a second? This is the same year he does Alien 3. He's such an underrated actor. Like Charles Dance, he's chewing the scenery. He's having a ball in this movie.
The Golden Child, he was the bad guy.
Yeah,
he's a good bad guy.
Here's the funny part about Charles Dance. Originally, they wanted Alan Rickman. They wanted Hans Gruber because they were spoofing the Die Hard movies in this. And Charles Dance was literally a cheaper Alan Rickman, to which point he wore a T-shirt on set that read, "I'm a cheaper Alan Rickman."
Oh, shit.
Like walking around. And he does a great, like, he is like a cheap Alan Rickman. He's just as good, though.
No, I think he's more intimidating.
Yeah, Dance he's a good
I think he's way more intimidating.
With the eye, with the glass, changing glass eyes. He was fucking, that was great.
He seemed like a kind of like a big dude.
Yeah, he did. He seemed like, I wish there was a like a fist fight between him
and Jack
Arnold.
Slater. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can see all your points, and most of the majority of the world thinks this movie was not only a critical failure, but
Yes.
the potential was there and they just failed.
But it's kind of fun.
But I don't know. I all the cameos. I normally am not like Imran, where I enjoy the what is it called? Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. Yes.
This White Claw is really hitting.
Boy, mangle.
But I enjoyed all the cameos. I enjoyed all the movie references. I was having a ball with just the fact that it was just so meta and just such. It was about an era of movies that, especially R-rated action movies, that I just, as a kid, was always a big fan of.
Let's talk about the cameos, because largely this was done due to the sheer star power of Arnold Schwarzenegger to get these cameos. You have Tina Turner, Sharon Stone as her character from Basic Instinct, Robert Patrick as the T-1000. There's a cardboard cutout in the movie that's in the movie universe.
That's one of the best jokes in the film.
Sylvester Stallone as Terminator.
That is so self-referential and so like wink, wink.
I love that. And then at the premiere of the movie where Jack Slater meets Arnold Schwarzenegger, you have Arnold's wife, Maria Shriver, giving him shit about Planet Hollywood.
Yeah,
that's great.
Great.
Remember when that was a thing? Remember Planet Hollywood?
Yes.
Did anybody ever go to a Planet? I never went to one.
I stayed at a Planet Hollywood in Vegas.
Was it fun? Was it cool?
No.
He was still pushing Planet Hollywood. You got Little Richard, James Belushi, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Fantastic.
Damon Wayans, Chevy Chase, MC Hammer. Apparently Timothy Dalton is behind someone else. You don't even see him, and he's in this. Wilson Phillips, Ian McKellen as Death from the Ingmar Bergman movie at the end, and Danny DeVito, the voice of the cartoon cat.
One of my favorite moments in the movie is when in that little red carpet scene is they have Tom Noonan showed up.
Tom Noonan is great.
As Tom Noonan, and then also Tom Noonan from the movie as the Ripper.
As the Ripper.
I don't know. I was just eating all of that up.
It's great.
The best part of the movie is when they get back to New York and they're just acknowledging all the movie tropes and having the movie, the actors within the movie interacting with the other actor from the movie. Like
it's so meta and
you're
crazy.
the best stunt double I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. So let's talk. I get a couple other things I really liked about this movie. I love the action, the exaggerated action movie physics. How Al Leong gets killed by an ice cream cone to the back of the head. That's fucking hilarious. I kind of love the nostalgia of the movie of the time because you see a Blockbuster video like when they were still around. Except Angie Everhart, the model, is like behind the Blockbuster.
Well, they acknowledge that. They're like, she's too hot to be working here.
Yeah, why is she wearing a space outfit? That doesn't make sense.
That is strange. Yes, I will agree. That is strange.
So I think they just took it to a level that like they thought it was funny, but it was unnecessary.
I will agree. I'll go with this. I think they were like, how clever can we get? And they went too clever at times.
Too clever.
I don't think it was clever. I think it was like over the top.
Sure.
Like,
okay.
Oh,
clunky.
definitely over the top clunky. But they're meshing of all these different fictions and realities and fictional fictions.
Yeah, they should have just stuck to the action genre.
Too much, yeah.
And they should have stuck to the action genre. They should have made it more of like a concentrated effort on the action genre. Because there's so much to do in the action genre. There's so many things. We don't need a cartoon cat. We don't need supermodels in spacesuits. We don't need like like whatever. Like we could just stay in action and do all that shit from there. And there was so much to mind. I feel like that was like a weakness that they kind of like went out and they were trying to like reach for other stuff because they didn't have enough to deal with the action genre. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you both this. As someone now that has watched a shit ton of movies in the past 2 months, I'm starting to respect when movies kind of go for it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this movie really went for it. Now, I guess that, a lot of people think they failed, and you guys seem to think the same, that they didn't go.
Well, because I could think of going for it, and I could think of going for it better. So I can envision a better film, and that's the problem.
I guess where I'm going at is that I think it deserves some respect for going for it.
Well, look, to its credit, it's ambitious, it's original, and it is satiring the genre at the peak of the genre. It doesn't have any narrative rules. It's fucking wonky.
Why do you think so many people have come up against this movie? Like it's just on
IMDb, they got 10 out of 10 reviews.
Well, I think
people like
at the time. I did do a little research. Yeah. At the time, it was horribly marketed. Right, it was supposed to be like the next Arnold franchise.
Well, we'll get in. I have a whole.
I don't think people were ready for something. I don't think people thought that was what Arnold was going to do.
The crazy thing is, this is the movie he did after Terminator 2.
Oh shit!
This is after being the biggest star in the biggest movie. This is his next movie, and it's a fucking bomb. But wait, back to more stuff I did enjoy. Arnold as Hamlet in the beginning. Holy shit!
Oh shit!
Show me that movie all day. I'll watch that whole movie.
That was funny.
That's fucking great
because he pulls out a gun and starts shooting people in the Shakespearean era. That's hilarious.
And it's in his head. It's a defined fictional world.
But they're in the action genre. Yes. It makes sense.
Yes. I also love like how when they're in the movie, it's always sunny. There's tons of lens flare. There's no clouds. It's always sunlight day. And then when they come in the real world, New York, it's always dark and rainy. And Anthony, that New York you see in this movie, it's only honestly slightly exaggerated. This is the New York I came to when I went to art school in 93, just before Giuliani cleans it up. But this is the New York that attracted me to New York. I wanted to see this fucked up graffiti peep show New York.
You wanted to see a place that would need a Batman.
Yes, I wanted
or a Spider-Man.
Yes,
I still remember the days, it was probably in the mid-90s when my parents were like, New York is a terrible
murder
place.
capital.
We're not visiting ever. We're not ever going to New York to visit.
In the 90s, it was the murder capital of the country. Absolutely.
I do remember that.
And that was my stopping.
I got off at that subway stop.
It's so funny though, like Charles Dance shooting a guy and just screaming, "I've shot a man."
Nobody cares.
Does anyone care? And they're like, "Go to sleep."
Yeah, that's what would happen though. That's exactly
in those times.
That is exactly what would happen
before the hipsters moved.
They'd be like, "Shut up! We're trying to sleep." Nobody cares. No, it was the kind of New York. You saw someone on the ground, you just kept fucking walking. If someone was unconscious, you walked over him. I didn't see nothing. I'm walking.
Yeah, there was a joke. I forgot which comedian said it, but like New York CPR is like, "Get the fuck up."
Yes, that's how you do it. Stop,
oh, you can't breathe. Come on, get up, you asshole.
Get up, walk it off.
Yeah.
So I love that. So there are certain things, and some of the action is kind of fun, but also the special effects remind me, and we'll get into why, of like a made-for-TV movie from the 80s. Like, they clearly didn't have enough time. You guys, the soundtrack to this movie was huge. Do you want to know who was on this soundtrack in 93? Megadeth, Alice in Chains, AC/DC, Queensryche, Def Leppard, Anthrax, Aerosmith, Cypress Hill,
yeah.
Fishbone, Tesla, Buckethead. This went platinum.
This movie was supposed to be like a franchise.
AC/DC wrote an original song called Big Gun for this. This was supposed to be the next great summer movie.
They had big plans for this whole thing.
And I'll tell you exactly why everything went flat. But before we do that, anybody have any favorite lines? I like the line in the beginning, Jack Slater, where he goes, "You want to be a farmer? Here's a couple of acres." And he kicks
him in the nuts.
the fucking guy.
What?
I don't even know how does that make sense?
There's always a guy in the closet.
So acres being like you're aching, like
acorns?
It hurts. No, acres.
I thought it was like acorns.
Acres as acres of land, but acres as in it hurts. It aches.
Yeah, 2 acres. Yeah.
What does this mean?
Balls.
I
That's
thought
what
he
it
was
means.
kicking him in the balls and like trying to make a reference to acorns.
Nobody knows what Arnold is saying.
Go and kiss your mother's behind.
My favorite was when they go in the Blockbuster and he's like, "Where are the Arnold Schwarzenegger films?" And the lady goes, "Foreign films are over there."
It's like, no, not him.
I mean, action.
There's always a guy in the closet.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love when he opens his closet and it's all red shirts and jackets and a row of guns, all just sitting there waiting for him.
See,
and then he tells him that he's gonna enjoy acne and premature ejaculation.
And your first divorce.
There's so many gold nuggets there.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
It just clicked for me in a way. I was just smiling the
But
entire
I could
time.
see that. Like, it is, like, fun and enjoyable. Oh, here's the one.
Hasta la vista, baby.
But it could have been... So, let me ask you this. Is this movie underrated, and was it ahead of its time? What do you think?
So, when I watched this movie, I thought... I watched this movie and I went, maybe I should rewatch Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah?
Because maybe I'll like this movie again. Maybe I'll actually like this movie
Scott
after
Pilgrim,
watching...
to some extent, Kingsman, tons of other movies.
I feel like a lot of these movies these days kind of copy this formula. And maybe they do it better, but they look at this formula and go, let's be self-referential.
This genre parody led to movies like Hot Fuzz and all those other movies. And it was original. What do you think, Ruggs? Overrated, ahead of its time, or underrated?
I mean, I would think that the concept was kind of like edgy. I don't think ahead of its time, but definitely edgy. I feel like McTiernan is a force to be reckoned with, and so is Shane Black. You got a lot of talented motherfuckers working on this film. I just think that it kind of got away from them a little bit. It became more unruly than they wanted it to be, and you can tell when you watch it. If they would have reined it in and just kind of really figured out what this fucking movie, the strength of this movie was, I feel like we could have had a bona fide classic where everybody would agree it was great, instead of having the split kind of
what the
reaction.
fuck happened?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What about this one?
That's for you guys, because I was like, yep, I like this.
I'll tell you exactly what the fuck happened, all right? It all starts with the guys who were given story credit, screenwriters Zach Penn and Adam Leff. Zach Penn's written a bunch of Marvel movies, written a bunch of X-Men movies, goes on to have a great career. But these two guys wrote this as a straight R-rated spoof of action movies called Extreme Violence. And it was extremely violent. The movie they wrote took place entirely in the movie within the movie reality, okay? Now, ironically, the source...
Let me say something real quick there.
Yes.
I think the movie gets better when they acknowledge that they can go back and forth between realities.
Yeah, because halfway through, I was kind of waiting them. I couldn't remember. I was like, I remember they go back, but will they go back?
They even should have... What they should have done is the climax should have been... I don't know if they could have got the rights, but they should have done where Charles Dance pulls villains from all different types of films.
That would have been amazing.
Faux villains.
Yeah.
So that it's like you're hinting that this is the same villain if they didn't get the rights.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
Well, you could have bought Freddy and Jason and all these slasher movies.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, I guess you're
saying.
right.
Would have been like a Ready Player One.
The potential for something really great was there, and they didn't reach for it.
Yeah, that would have been good. Like Arnold, like you said, versus Freddy, Chucky.
Holy shit.
The Poltergeist, like all sorts of crazy shit.
So originally these guys were inspired, this is kind of ironic, by The Simpsons. Well, if you don't remember when The Simpsons started in the first couple of seasons, this was a sitcom, a family sitcom that was kind of spoofing and skewing the family sitcom in a family sitcom. So they're like, why can't we do that for action movies? The irony is The Simpsons have this character, McBain, Rainier Wolfcastle, who is kind of like their Jack Slater, their Arnold Schwarzenegger. And there's even a joke about this movie after this come out in an episode later. Bart's like, "Hey, McBain, your last movie sucked." He goes, "Yeah, I know there was script issues." And then Chief Wiggum is like, "Magic ticket my ass." Like he's totally calling out this fucking movie.
Yeah,
that's right, drunk Arnold. So that's where this started. Now, here's where the problems come. Writers and rewrites. Too many writers. Zach Penn and Laugh were replaced by the guy they were spoofing, Shane Black and David Arnott, right? Then John McTiernan, the other guy's movies that they studied to spoof, gets hired to direct the movie and basically starts rewriting everything Shane Black and David do in front of them. Shane Black and David Arnott are replaced by the novelist and Oscar winner William Goldman, who got $1 million to do a rewrite. This was the studio's way of saying, look, we covered our asses. We paid this guy a lot of money to fix it. So whatever happens, this guy covered it. Then they were like, oh, the dialogue's not girly enough. Carrie fucking Fisher also punches up the script. And then at one point they asked Shane Black to come back and fix the script.
How many rewrites is that? That's like 6?
Yes, that's way too many. So this is what happens, Ruggs. The Hamlet fantasy scene is from Penn and Left, the original screenwriters. Charles Dancesville and Mr. Benedict with the glass eye, that's a Goldman creation, that guy who they paid $1 million. The scene where they have to dispose of Leo's fart with the thing in his body, that's from Shane Black and Arnott. So do you see how all these fucking parts get rewritten, things get added, and the movie is now a convoluted mess?
I feel like you can tell when you're watching it that
Yes.
it feels like that.
Yes.
What I gather out of that is that Shane Black is pretty, like, even like just a bunch of directors and writers, but Shane Black especially to me seems like we like revere him for a lot of his writing and a lot of the movies he's done, but he can be pretty hit or miss on some of his stuff.
Yeah, and the group of McTiernan and Arnold and Shane Black have worked together before on Predator. You know, he was in Predator.
Oh, the Predators. Well, The Predator. Oh, you're talking about Predator?
Predator. Yeah, the original.
I was going to say The Predator is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Okay, so what the fuck happened? Too many writers, too many rewrites. On top of that, fellas, a super tight schedule. Get this. From greenlighting the movie to opening night, they were given a little over 9.5 months.
Oh, shit. That's insane.
Wow.
That when they were shooting the movie until the week before it was released, McTiernan said when they were done shooting initially, he had 3 weeks to edit the movie and do visual effects. 3 weeks. He says
that's crazy.
Listen to this quote. He says there are enormous sequences in the film that are literally how it came out of my camera.
Oh, shit.
We cut the heads and tails off, and that's the sequence. It wasn't edited at all. They had no time. On top of that, it had a really bad test screening, and they had the release date was the week after another small movie called Jurassic Park. Columbia refused to push this movie back. So just imagine, Jurassic Park comes out the week before. No one is going to see this movie because, Anthony, as you had previously mentioned, there was really bad marketing. You know that 4-story tall inflatable Arnold you see in the movie?
Yeah.
They had that thing out at in front of in New York, in Times Square, in other places. This is the craziest thing. They paid $500,000 to paint their logo on a NASA rocket that was supposed to launch the month before the movie came out as a publicity stunt. Well, as we just saw with the SpaceX NASA launch, sometimes these things get delayed. The rocket gets delayed, doesn't go off till months later after the movie has bombed and left the theaters. Their $500,000 goes up. John McTiernan is quoted as saying, "The Last Action Hero was the worst time I've ever had in this."
Oh, shit.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that this movie even came out with all that.
This showed that at the time, I feel like this showed Arnold wasn't bulletproof. This was he considers this his first real failure, and it's the first movie he produced.
It's not really his fault, though.
No, it was all these things. He was producing, though. It's the first movie he produced, so he had a lot of notes and made him change things, and he got paid $15 million out of that $85 million budget. $15 million went to him.
This movie, though, makes me appreciate Arnold even more.
A little bit,
because he can acknowledge the fact of how ridiculous the movies he was in.
Yeah, he comes off great in this.
He's great
film.
at spoofing himself. His comedy is great, and I think at the time he's even said he wanted to pivot away from action movies. He had more fun in movies like Twins and Junior, where he gets to play against type, but he's good at that.
If you want to watch a film where Arnold is poking fun at himself and showing you that he realizes he's in on the joke, this movie does that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things it does. So, you can't really blame Arnold for this movie being bad because he's not the reason.
It is an Arnold movie. Like, do you guys have a thing? Like, I had a thing for a while, and it still is. Like, I think I've seen every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And if there's an Arnold movie, I will watch it. I've probably seen like 99%. It's just like a given.
Because he's charming.
Yeah.
And there's a charm to how he approaches things. You laugh at his accent because it's funny. Like, he's established this kind of way of speaking, these one-liners, this whole attitude of what an action star is. So if you want to watch an 80s action film, you got to watch an Arnold movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the time, this movie was so big, guys. There was a $20 million Burger King campaign. There was a side-scrolling video game where it was really repetitive and punchy, but it was pretty successful. And there was this, toys. Have a listen.
Make no mistake. Jack Slater is the last action hero. And now you can be Slater.
Jack, help! Pick on someone your own size, Ripper. You asked for it, Slater. Piece of cake. Jack, look out! Whack! Whack! You ripped my shirt.
Big mistake.
Have a dumbbell. You're such a drip, Rip.
Heat Pack and Jack, Hook, Launch and Danny, Axe Swing and Ripper, and Dynamite Jack Slater sold separately. New from Mattel.
I love old toy commercials. They're the best. So he recorded voices that the figure talked. And he actually recorded voices. The funniest thing about these toys, though, none of them had any guns.
Oh, shit.
No guns.
No Desert Eagle.
No Desert Eagle. No fucking guns.
Terrific.
On any of these toys, which I thought was really funny. So that's...
Does he have an ice cream cone?
In the back of his head. Oh, that's my other favorite line. I iced that guy to coin a phrase. Like, that's fucking great.
Yes, right now.
Right now, we are going to rate the movie. So that's what the fuck happened. And all that stuff, you can see it in the movie. You see the rushed special effects and the fucking shortcuts and how it's all clunky. And there's different things happening that different people wrote that they just fucking assembled and cut together for no reason. Makes no sense. So many things don't make any sense. But is it still fun? It is. Anthony, give me a number. Final thoughts on this movie and give me a rating.
Final thoughts. I had a really good time. I wouldn't say it was a great movie. But
Oh, no.
I wouldn't say it was one of those where I'm going to think it's an all-time classic, but I appreciated it a lot. I think I throw it in there with the other John McTiernan classics, and I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10.
Yes!
Gotcha. That gets you a yes. Ruggs, give me a number.
Oh, I can give you a number. It's 555, just like everybody else in this fucking movie.
What's your number? 555?
All right.
1, 2, 3. What's your area code?
So this movie, as I said, I remember seeing it as a teenager and thinking that there was a lot lacking in the movie. I feel like it meandered and could have maximized all the potential that they had in this concept.
Say it again.
But Arnold does a great job. McTiernan did the best he could, I guess, in this short shooting schedule. But I think that the fact that this kid is so annoying and cringy, and he ruins the film for me in a lot of ways. So I'm going to give it a 5.5.
I'm a cop, you idiot.
Yeah.
So myself, I have to give it 2 scores. There's no way around this. On the basis of it being original and being a meta commentary and slightly ahead of its time, what it was spoofing, the potential, the concept is so clever and such a great wish fulfillment that I would have rated this like a 7.5, maybe even an 8. But after execution, the score is like a 5.5.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Arnold. It's a 5.5 or 6 for actually what came out. So there's my numbers.
I mean, it's not a deplorable film. Like, if you like it, like Anthony likes it, I could see why. Yeah. And he's completely within his rights to like that movie. Like, it's just that I feel like, when I couldn't go willingly where you were willing to go, Anthony.
There you go.
All they had to do, they just had to stick to one simpler storyline and get another kid. Sorry.
Oh, shit.
The fucking
that would have helped a lot.
You know what I'm curious of after reviewing this for Jesse Rodriguez is, did he have us review this because he thought it was a shitty film?
Right.
Or something he thought was a really good film? Like, what was his angle on having us review this?
It could go either way, honestly.
So, Jesse, please let us know what your intent was.
And thanks for picking this movie, Jesse Rodriguez.
Quick question for you, Ron. If this is on, are you stopping, hanging on, or are you skipping immediately?
If this is on, I might do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 2 yes.
I'm in the same boat. If it's like if depending on what scene it's on.
Yes, it does depend on what scene is.
If we're in the fart scene, I'm like completely. I don't want to. I could skip that.
Stop laughing.
But if I'm in New York, I'm watching.
I like some of the stuff in the movie, though. Also, some of the crazy action that was going on in the movie universe. It doesn't have
dinosaurs,
so that's a point that has
it
to
does. And then when he lands in the La Brea tar
pits, it does have dinosaurs. That's right. Oh, they built that whole set. I also love
wrong again, Imran.
I love that part where like the tar just wipes off, and he's like, tar usually sticks to people, but it's just like it's clean.
His daughter just rolls in on a fucking.
Oh, I forgot about the daughter. That girl,
the daughter that they just use conveniently and then forget about it. The rest
was
of the
that
movie.
the girl from Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore? Was that?
Yeah. That's I want to touch the hiney.
She's Pete Sampras' wife.
Totally hot.
Get to the chopper!
Okay, Arnold, don't yell at me. Jesus, we'll get to the chopper. All right, Jesse Rodriguez, thank you so much for that pick. It was a wonderful movie to kind of revisit and learn about what the fuck happened, so I had a good time. Let's do some news from the nation, fellas.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation. Oh, God. That was a flapper. That's
that's a deep noise. That's
so we
coming
call
out.
a flapper.
Put that cookie down now. I'm a cop, you idiot.
All right,
I ate a lot of meat. That's a meat fart.
Fiddlesticks Winterbottom had comments from our last show.
I really enjoyed this.
He says, Imran, don't isolate the audio where Tony comments, if I could put myself into a 13-year-old girl's body, that shit ain't right. Tony starts watching Oscar films, and all of a sudden he's Roman Polanski.
Let me tell you about Tony, all right? Tony ruins lives.
It stinks.
Oh, I pressed 2 buttons at the same time. On second thought, maybe you should isolate that snippet and post on various social media platforms. Tony can come back at the clip and how it was taken out of context, and he just meant he wants to change his genitalia. The controversy might get you guys some free publicity and lots of new followers. I like that idea. I didn't do it.
I remember saying that, but I don't remember the context of why I said that.
You said you wanted to become a girl.
No, because you like Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic or
that's right.
something.
You bastards!
Me becoming Roman, I enjoy anyone that makes fun of the fact that I consider myself now a cinephile because I don't really do it. I think it's just very self-deprecating, so I enjoy anyone that can make fun of that.
Don't fucking bullshit me.
That's right. Don't fucking bullshit me.
I am Roman Polanski now. Yes.
Fucking Roman. You know other stuff he did. You don't want to be Roman Polanski. Can't come back into this country for a long time. Look it up.
Who was the guy that did Eyes Wide Shut?
That was Kubrick. That was like
that's who I am now too.
It was one of his last movies. Wes Cranford, our listener from Down Under, says, this message is from my 17-year-old son, and I really haven't read comics in a long while. Anyone have any suggestions for him? His son asked, I read Crisis on Infinite Earths, Judas Contract, The Court of Owls, Year One, and The Dark Knight Returns recently. Any other must-read DC storylines. I thought somebody else might have this question, and I love that Wes, your son, is digging into good fucking comic books.
Read some Marvel while you're at it.
Well, he's reading DC. We will stick to DC. There's good stuff in DC. Anthony, do you have a suggestion?
I suggested it in the thread, but the entire Jeff Johns Green Lantern run, starting with Green Lantern Rebirth and ending with Blackest Night. Actually, it ends with Brightest Day, but I think Blackest Night is a good send-off there, so that's what I'd recommend.
That's good. Ruggs, must-read DC storylines to you. What do you think?
I'm going to say Kingdom Come. I'm going to say New Frontier.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm going to say, I don't know what else to say. There's graphic novels. I think they're done by, I can't remember what they're called. Can I check real quick and I'll get back to you?
Yes.
They're right on my shelf.
I will
right
give
here.
you some more great DC storylines. Identity Crisis, Brad Meltzer. Definitely read that one. Flashpoint is great. Batman Long Halloween. You got to read Watchmen. Flash Rebirth is also good. Bilotti Jr. and some comments from the group. He says Kingdom Come. Lisa Morrison has read Death in the Family, and she recommends that one. That's a great one. Adam Morris says Batman Black Mirror. Did I say Black Man? Oh boy, don't isolate that audio. Batman Black Mirror is a great detective story. Dick Grayson is Batman at that time. He also mentions Long Halloween, All-Star Superman, Kingdom Come. Again, a lot of people coming up.
I'm going to go say Secret Origin Superman.
Oh,
done by Gary Frank is amazing.
Oh.
And if you can get your hands on the John Byrne Superman, that's also really good. You reinvent Superman from the ground up.
John Byrne Superman is good. And I'm going to throw in, I just actually recently ordered this like Batman hardcover bundle off Amazon. I went to buy one thing and then they're like, buy all these 3. It's $20 each. I was like, okay. So they're still in their cellophane wrappers. I haven't read them yet, but I hear they're great. The one that just came out, Batman Damned by Brian L. Azzarello, Lee Bermejo. And then there's one called Deceased, Batman Deceased by Tom Taylor, where there's like a virus that kills everyone and the hero's got to figure it out. And then from Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Batman Last Night on Earth. And it's 20 years in the future. Bruce Wayne wakes up in Arkham, young, sane, and he's never been Batman. He has to piece together the mystery of his past. This one looks really cool. I heard a lot of great things. So I would recommend those for some solid new Batman stories. Batman Damned. Any more? That's it. Chaz Hubbard has another great question. He had a great question last week. This one is also good, maybe a little bit harder to answer. He says a question for the show. Avatar: The Last Airbender was #1 on Netflix 15 years after it originally aired.
Oh, shit.
What TV shows from your childhood would take over the internet if it was re-aired today? So
I don't know.
That's a tough question.
The question also, I think the way I understand it is a show, animated or live action, that was just put on Netflix, not remade, but just re-aired.
Oh, I thought what I thought he was getting at is if the show never aired and then was put in today's era, what would it take over the internet?
That's not how this question reads, because he's saying
maybe not.
Avatar was, it's an old show and suddenly it's a hit on Netflix.
I mean, that's everything that we've watched has been on.
That's kind of the problem. I was thinking stuff like, Punky Brewster, but they're redoing that.
I was thinking the first show that came to mind for me was Family Matters. I don't know if that's ever.
Oh, Steve Urkel? Is that have a nostalgia like a Fresh Prince? I thought of Greatest American Hero, and then I thought of like Robotech cartoon, but that's on the internet. Nobody cares.
Yeah, they're all there. I say Buffy. That's my personal Buffy and Angel.
Yeah.
So.
It's a good question that got me thinking, but then I was
Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh man,
also,
but it's also something like that was so obscure and weird that like people would discover it for the first time now, like a Automan, or there was like Misfits of Science. Remember that shit?
Street Hawk.
Street Hawk was another one. I was thinking Knight Rider, but they tried to bring that back and it sucked.
Yeah, so the Avatar: The Last Airbender is like a true American classic. It really is animation on one of the highest levels, writing on one of the highest levels, characters on one of the highest levels. It is a masterpiece. So, and it was done in a timeless way. So like you could watch Avatar now and 15 years ago and not feel the difference because animation doesn't really age as much as like TV does.
Yeah.
Could I speak to the drug dealer of the house, please?
Present.
That's him.
Sorry. No. I got to go to my guy.
Who told you you can eat my cookies?
Don't eat the cookies. Anthony, do you have any, can you think of anything else? Any other show from your childhood? What did you watch when you were a fucking child, by the way? Did you watch TV at all?
Yes, I did. I was big X-Men, Power Rangers, TGIF.
Like Saved by the Bell, they're bringing back already.
Saved by the Bell is is before me.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything that I can think of is already like had its run. That the only thing I could think of was Family Matters. I don't know if it had a rebirth because
they should bring
Full
that
House.
back.
I was big Full House.
They brought
That's had
that back
its thing
though, on Netflix.
The Wonder Years. I mean,
Wonder Years. I think people would really dig that now.
I loved it. I liked Wonder Years.
That was a
Winnie
smart
Cooper.
show. Yeah,
I used to tell people in grade school that I had a girlfriend named Winnie, and no one figured out that it was Winnie Cooper.
She's from Canada. We write all the time. Sure.
Yeah.
Another great question, Chaz. Keep them coming. I love these questions for the shows from Chaz.
Their bottom is very weak.
You guys remember that show Roswell?
Roswell with Katherine Heigl.
Before she was Katherine Heigl.
Yeah, but I liked her in that show. That was a interesting show. Got killed too early. I don't know. It's a good question. Let's finish up with some. What are we watching, Anthony? You watched anything extra outside of the movies that you're on?
Yeah. So I've been kind of a guilty pleasure, but I've been 5 episodes through Too Hot to Handle on Netflix.
Oh no! Really? How is it? Oh shit! Tell everyone the concept. It's insane.
So Too Hot to Handle is a show on Netflix. It's a ridiculous show where they pick all these hot model type dudes and girls from all over the world, or in this case, America, Ireland, Australia, and the UK, and it's a worldly show. Yet all these people are either white or black, but I mean, here nor there.
Where's the brown people?
And they pick these people thinking they're going to be on this island, and it's going to be this big hookup show. All these people are addicted to sex, and then the whole premise is they think they're on this island to hook up, and then they take away sex. So you can't have sex, you can't masturbate, you can't kiss, you can't have a pet. And it's supposed to be about developing themselves into more well-rounded people. And if they happen to violate any of those rules, they lose money because there's a pot at the end for how much development they can do and how much they can abstain from all the sexual things that they want to do to each other. So
it seems so mean and torturous to really hot people who I hate anyways because they're hot.
I just have to throw into why I decided to watch it. And I'm revealing this for the first time on the show. I've told you guys before, but on Netflix, there's a show called Love is Blind.
Right.
And Love is Blind more than a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. So I don't know if they're actually going to continue to pursue me, but they had reached out to me on Instagram to potentially join their show or at least try out for their show. So if anyone watches Love is Blind, that's the show that reached out to the jock. I'm not lying about this.
Do it now.
So what happened with that?
I haven't heard back, and I don't know if it's because they don't want me anymore or because of the pandemic. So who knows?
You're in the running on Love is Blind. That's amazing.
I might be, I might not be anymore. So I'm feeling confident enough, and I don't know if they were to ask me to continue, if I would continue, but we'll see. But Too Hot to Handle is like the sister show.
It's trashier though, isn't it?
So which one do you want to be on?
I feel like Too Hot to Handle is more my style.
Oh, no.
But the thing is on Too Hot to Handle, if you do things, you lose money. So I'd be costing the group more money. Whereas Love is Blind is the concept is getting married to someone even though you've never seen them. It's just based on conversation.
So on Too Hot to Handle, you win the prize by not fucking around.
I think Too Hot to Handle is more of there's more fun to be had.
It's a trashier show.
It sounds trash.
Every episode they have these people on, and then like they're on the island, and they do these different challenges to get further connected to someone emotionally, or they do these workshops to understand themselves better. And if they're able to generate a genuine connection, they wear this bracelet and it gives them the green light to actually like kiss.
Was there someone like right away? They were just like, I'm out. They pulled a Cosmo Kramer. And they're like, they can't control themselves. I'm sure.
Well, there's people right away that just end up breaking the rules. Yeah.
So
and
like, even if
people the money.
if you make out, you get disqualified.
You don't get disqualified. So there's a pot of $100,000.
The pot goes down.
And the pot goes down.
Game over.
I wonder who's going to win and what it's going to do for them. Yeah, I wondered about that show. I was like, wow, the concept of the show is ridiculous.
Very good-looking people on the show.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's the point. Ruggs, you watch anything this week that was interesting?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Did you watch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 premiere? Geek Boner?
No, I did not. I've been watching Better Call Saul.
Yeah, get into that.
And I finished it finally, and oh my God, I fucking love that show. It's great. Yeah. And anybody who misses Breaking Bad should be watching Better Call Saul.
You finished all the seasons? Is it better?
Yeah.
Is it better than Breaking Bad?
Look, I thought that Gus Fring was the most unfuckable with bad guy that you can make. But then they fucking introduced this guy, Lalo Salamanca. Who is the most unfuckable with bad guy after this season. This dude is smiling in your face, make you feel all relaxed, but while he's doing that, he's ready to fucking just shank you or fucking blow you up or fucking kill you or fucking you don't even know what he's gonna do. He's so crazy.
Well, that hit the spot.
So Better Call Saul, if you can check it out, do that.
Anthony, how's that White Claw treating you?
I got a little buzz from it. I'm done with those. I think 2 is a good limit for the show. I think even maybe just 1 next time for the show.
I drank 4 beers.
I hate it when you're drunk.
Yes, I agree, Arnold. I did watch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 premiere, and it was kind of fun to see the gang back. Also crazy that this is the last season of the last old Marvel TV show stuff under Jeff Loeb. And that it's still happening. And, you know, the gist of this one, there's a little bit of time travel. They're in the 30s because they followed these Chronicoms who are like these time-traveling terrorists back to the 30s. And they think the Chronicoms are there to kill Franklin Delano Roosevelt as governor because the next year he becomes president. Then he forms the SSR, and then he forms S.H.I.E.L.D. So they think he's there. They're there to kill him so S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't get formed. But it turns out, twist, you probably saw this in the trailer, they're actually there to stop them from preventing Hydra from being formed. Because if Hydra doesn't get formed, then in reaction, S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't get formed. So that's kind of fun. But the craziest thing you realize watching season 7 of the show is Clark Gregg has died as Coulson like 4 fucking times.
Oh, shit.
Throughout the show. Like,
that's just bad.
So like he dies in Avengers, right? They bring him back for the show. Then he's going. There's a Tahiti thing. He dies. Spoilers. You probably nobody's realized this. He dies, and then in the last season, there are these alien bounty hunters that come to Earth, and one of them just happens to look exactly like Coulson, just for no reason. Like he's just in his body. So they bring Coulson. He gets to play a bad Coulson. That guy dies, and then in the end of that, in the beginning of this season, they have now created an advanced LMD life model decoy with Chronicom parts of Phil Coulson that has his consciousness, all his memories downloaded in his head. Oh, shit. And this is the Coulson. He's an LMD now. So it's a way to keep Clark Gregg in the show, who is great. He's kind of the anchor of the show. But I'm going to have fun watching the last, half shortened season.
I was watching TV and the DVR said, you have a conflict. Do you want to record Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I said, no.
Kill it.
Immediately.
Oh, my God.
Delete this now.
How
so I didn't watch
dare
it.
you?
Good.
Okay. And then the other thing I watched is Pat Downey in the Facebook group left a question about the Impractical Jokers movie. And I was like, oh, shit. I forgot to watch this movie. It reminded me because I love this show. Anthony, do you know anything about the show?
Yes, I've seen episodes of the show.
And I understand some people really don't like it. They find it super annoying. I love these 4 guys and their relationship and how they know each other's weaknesses and they pick on them and they make them go through challenges. So when they announced that they're making a movie, I was like, what?
Get the fuck out
of here. I'm like, well, how you gonna make a movie out of this? What the fuck is this? Turns out they did make a movie. They clearly had a little bit more money. they've weaved this storyline through and worked in their challenges, and the challenges, to their credit, a little bit bigger, a little bit crazier. Those parts were as funny as the TV show. I don't know if it needed a movie, but the storyline is about an incident that went.
There's a storyline?
Yes, there's a storyline. So the movie kind of reminded me of like Private Parts with Howard Stern mixed with a little Borat, mixed with a little Jackass. It starts out, they're playing themselves as high school kids in the 90s, and they went to see Paula Abdul, and there was this incident at the Paula Abdul concert, and then it jumps ahead. They're working on the show. They run into Paula Abdul. She invites them to a party in Miami, at which point they go on a road trip, and they do challenges along the way. So that's like kind of like the Pam Anderson bit in Borat. If you follow the show, if you watch the seasons, you will absolutely love this movie, because every episode I'm legit crying by the end. I'm in tears laughing. There is, if anybody knows about the Jaden Smith tattoo on Sal Vulcano's leg and the history of this, there is an amazing payoff. Oh, shit. In this movie about that tattoo. So they got celebrities. They were able to pay money to do bigger stunts. Like there's a stunt, Sal, again, hates cats. So they lock him in his hotel room. They remove the handle from the inside. And then from the other side of the hotel room, there's a giant tiger on a chain that just comes out like a full-size fucking tiger. And he just about shits himself. It's hilarious. It was good. It's good, a little bit funnier than the TV show.
Good, wholesome fun.
Good, wholesome fun. If you like the show, I would recommend the movie. If you've never seen the show, the movie, you're not going to like it. It's okay. But I thought it was pretty funny. I'm glad I watched it, but it was just like a longer episode of the TV show with a little bit better production quality and celebrities. So
I've never been able to get into that show.
Dude, you're from the fucking East Coast. These are East Coast bros, like how we would bust each other's balls.
I know, but I just something about that setup, like that.
It's a candid camera show.
I feel like it's cool for a few episodes, but I can't keep going back to it.
But they push.
I have a tough time with the candid camera stuff after a while.
Listen, there's one episode where there's a doctor has a finger up Murray's ass, giving him a rectal exam. Oh, shit. And it's on the television. I'm like, that guy's finger is in Murray's ass right now. It was fucking hilarious. So they just do and they always push it. I'm diehard. And you know what? In Practical Jokers, it's on HBO Max. I didn't know it was going to be on there. They have all the seasons are on there. Good stuff. Okay, we're going to wrap up with this final announcement. Anthony made a guest appearance on The Voice from the Underground.
Oh,
yeah. I listened to it. Very good.
Thank you. I have to apologize. I blame it on them. I didn't really know all the topics that were going to occur on the show, but there was a topic at the end of the show, or towards the end, that gained a lot of headway towards the week, and I just had no idea that it even was a thing. So I had nothing to say on it, and I wish I would have had something.
Anthony.
Yeah, I wish I would have been paying attention a little more.
Try and keep up. There was a great Last Dance basketball conversation in the beginning. So I would say to Jimmy Graben, remember, who wrote in and wanted to hear your thoughts about the whole series.
Voice from the Underground's the spot to do it.
Go listen to that. I will put a link in the episode, and I think you will be satisfied with the discussion in terms of what you wanted. So link in the show notes. You can find them anywhere. And again, just leave us an Apple Podcast rating. We're at 121, trying to get to 200. You can leave a review also, especially if you have an iOS device and you're in the US, or if you have a Windows computer, you can download Apple Podcast using iTunes on a Windows. Rate and review us there. Final words, anyone?
You can see me on Twitter at Really Rug Boy.
We can see you there?
No, you can't see me.
Don't bullshit me.
You can read me.
Do not bullshit me.
I'll call you back.
So you're seeing when I write.
You can see reading the seeing. Yes, follow Really Rug Boy on Twitter. Check out the show notes, jockanerd.com/330 for all the bullshit we talked about, how to get in touch, how to support, how to subscribe so you never miss a show, and tell your friends. Post the show on your social medias. Let's grow this geeky community. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Bastard. Cookie. Put that cookie down now. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Disgusting. told her you can eat my cookies.